It is Thursday morning, and that means the weekend is just around the corner. A good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yaira Awuno. We are coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV here in Accra. And you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us via social media on Facebook and on YouTube. We're having our live stream on these two platforms. And then you can follow us at Clock TV GH on all other social media platforms and join in the conversations. Let's get interactive. Now, here's what to expect on the Koko Digest Morning Show today. As on the lifestyle segment, you're going to be learning more about oral health or dental care. So this is something that all of us need to pay very, very keen attention to. Business and sports will be bringing us news as always. And then also we're going to be having our online and print segment where you can also call in and share your thoughts with us, share some of the trending issues around you, your neighborhood, in the world, anything you've heard anywhere, share with us, and also we will be able to, comment on it. We'll be able to get interactive as well. For now, let's prepare to be motivated for the weekend ahead. Yes, as we're in the month of February, we know the theme for the month is love, and today's quote is by Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, the author and playwright, and he says, "Love is not love which alters when its alteration finds. Love is not love which alters when its alteration finds." Now, this quote defines love by its constancy. He's arguing that true love is not reactive or fragile. It does not bend, shrink, or disappear when faced with change. Time passes, people grow older, circumstances shift, flaws become clearer, and life introduces trials. Yet love remains itself through all of this. Shakespeare suggests that if affection fades simply because the conditions are no longer ideal or favorable, then it was never love in its truest sense. Genuine love is not dependent on ease, beauty, or perfect moments. Instead, it is anchored in commitment and recognition of another person's worth, even when things become complicated or uncomfortable. Now, this kind of love is resilient. It does not abandon when challenged, nor does it lose its shape when tested. Rather than being taken or shaken by storms, it is revealed by them. In this way, Shakespeare reminds us that love is less about the fleeting emotion and more about the steadfast devotion and something proven over time. Through endurance, loyalty, and the willingness to remain present when change is unavoidable. So Shakespeare is trying to tell us that love remains steadfast regardless of whatever happens, whether it's trials, whether it's flaws, whether it's any situation that would, test the love between one person and the other. And this goes beyond the romantic love or it cuts across all forms of love, from the agape love, the familial love, every kind of love, where regardless of the situation, the genuine love still stands strong. And this also goes to inform us that sometimes we hear people talking about the fact that love is not just an emotion, but it is a choice. So yes, in this month of February, as we are, learning about love, we are appreciating love more. Let us continue to take that bold decision to continue to love whoever it is we are loving, whether it's our family, our friends, our loved ones, our partners. Let's remain steadfast in the love. And even when challenges come, when the flaws are even, clearer, the love will be able to help us to actually even give them more grace, give them more space to grow and become better people. This is the quote for today. I hope that it's going to give you something to, chew on, ponder upon, and, make a few decisions here and there. Now, it's time for the weather forecast by Peter Intia. So let's get into it. Good morning.
Good morning, Aria.
I hope you're well.
I'm doing very well. I hope you're well too, with the energy this morning.
I'm doing well. I'm fine, thank you. So it's rained on Tuesday.
Yes.
And you told us Hamatans. We should be expecting the Hamatans. So what's happening? What should we expect today?
Today to some parts of the coastal area, like Axim and its environs, should expect rain somewhere in the afternoon leading to the evening. But then the northern sector remains dry, hazy, and slightly dry and hazy.
Right, okay. So I'll leave Peter to give us in-depth detail of the 24-hour impact-based forecast by the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Peter, over to you.
Thank you, Aria. Good morning to you and welcome. It's time for the weather forecast, and this is the 24-hour impact-based forecast for Ghana, and this is from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. This morning, the southern sector will be dominated by patches of fog and mist, and so this affects visibility. So GMET is advising drivers to make good use of their headlights as visibility will be deteriorated, and then they should also reduce their speed. If you're a driver within the coastal areas, the forest areas, you should reduce your speed and make good use of your headlights because of the patches of fog and mist. And then the northern sector remains dry, fairly dry and hazy throughout the weather forecast. The northern sector remains dry and hazy. And then in the afternoon, the people within the southern sector, especially the mountainous and coastal areas, should also expect localized thunderstorm or rains in the afternoon leading to the evening as well. So the people within Axim and its environs. And then when we go to the evening too, they should also expect some rain in the southern sector as well. The mountainous and forest areas as well, they should also expect some bits of rain. And then this morning too, the weather is moderate. It's normal. The weather is normal. And as the day goes, in the afternoon, it is going to be very, very hot. And so viewers should take note and wear clothes that are light and take in more water. But for this morning, those in the southern sector, especially the drivers, should make good use of their headlights and reduce speed as well. And then when we take the state of the sea today, the sea is rough, and it means that it is not friendly for our fisher folks. They should take note and act accordingly. It's rough, and it means that it is not friendly. Now let's take a look at the specific cities and see what will be happening. And so Aflao, Accra, this morning, as I stated earlier, it's misty. There are patches of fog all around. And then later in the afternoon, the people of Accra, Aflao, Kasua should expect sunny periods. Like I stated earlier, the temperature is going to be very hot. And in the evening too, they should expect cloudy weather with a very cool temperature. And then the northern sector, as I said, this morning remains slightly hazy. And in the afternoon to the same weather, very dry and slightly hazy with a very hot weather. And same applies in the evening as well. And so today, basically, what GMET is telling us is that we should be careful. Those who actually carry out the activities on the sea, they should note that today the sea is very rough. And then those within the southern belt, especially the coastal and mountainous areas, should also take note, and they should expect some showers of rain later in the afternoon and day. And this is all I have for you today about the weather. I am Peter Insia. Do not go anywhere. Up next is the online and paper review.
welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for the online and print review. I have my co-host here with me, Peter Nsia, to join me in the conversation. And I would like to remind us to send our comments to the WhatsApp number that will be displayed onto our screens and to the YouTube or Facebook live stream. And when the phone lines are opened, I will be diligent to inform you, and then you can also call and weigh in on some of the situations that we'll be discussing. Now, before we get into the online and print review, as always, we do the word for the day. And we have our junior Sarkodie here. So hi again, Peter.
Hello, Yara.
I hope you're well.
I'm doing very well. Up and grateful, divine selection, all day.
All day. Right. So the word for the day is devotion. As I said earlier, in the month of love. So our quotes, our words for the day will be centered around love. So, Peter, what do you understand by devotion?
Devotion, I think a feeling, a strong feeling of love and loyalty. So, our Christian community uses the word every day. I'm going to have a devotion. So, it's like loyalty, a strong feeling for someone. So, basically, like love. Yes.
Right. Okay, so the word for the day, as I said, is devotion. And devotion here says it's a deep sense of commitment, loyalty, and dedication to a person, cause, or belief or purpose shown through consistent actions, care, and sacrifice. So this is just basically to say that when you're devoted to somebody, you're committed to them, you're loyal to them, and then you're also dedicated to the person or even a cause or a belief. So like Peter said, when we decide we have devotion, we are dedicating that time to be spent with the Lord, like our quiet time and stuff like that. So now some of the synonyms or the words that are similar in meaning to devotion are dedication, loyalty, faithfulness, commitment, allegiance, fidelity, and steadfastness. So anytime you hear any of these words, you can think about the word devotion as something similar. So dedication, loyalty, faithfulness, commitment, allegiance, fidelity, and steadfastness. Then the words that are opposite in meaning. So if you're not devoted or you don't have any feeling of devotion to anybody, it means you're indifferent, disloyalty, neglect, betrayal, apathy, or unfaithfulness. So the words opposite in meaning: indifference, disloyalty, neglect, betrayal, apathy, and unfaithfulness. So this is the word for today. I hope it's something you've learned. Sometimes we use some words, we don't really know the actual meanings. This is also to help us to get conversant with some of our vocabulary. I hope that it's something that has also enlightened you today. Now, Peter, it's time for our online and print review.
Yeah.
What is happening in your world? What have you picked up so far?
Yes, so actually what I picked up is something we'll be discussing on the business segment.
Right.
And it's very disturbing. This year it was announced, something started on the 1st of January. That is the new tax reforms. That's the VAST. And then GRA even announced that when they started it on the 1st of January, they went out to actually find out if people are complying. And recently we are hearing that they are not complying. And so it looks as though the currency is doing well. Petrol prices have been reduced and all that. But yet still, the prices of food items are still, on high. And some of these taxes that those who are into this, let's say the mini-mart and all that, they are supposed to reduce the VAT and all that, the taxes, but still it looks as though they are not doing that. And this is actually disturbing. And so the prices of goods and services are still high. And so there's been this, they formed a group that tax compliance, group that will be going around to ensure that the people adhere to the tax reforms to bring some ease to the ordinary Ghanaian. So yes, but we will be talking about it very deep during the business segment. So viewers should, take note of that.
But when it comes to the people and compliance, it seems the task force system is not as effective anymore because populations have increased. I'm thinking that maybe, you know how we use our phones, everybody has a phone at this point, you know, in time in life, whether it's a smartphone or a YAM, as we like to call it. I think maybe at this point, having our Ghana cards or the ECOWAS identity card, and the voter's ID, all these forms of identification, may link to our phone numbers actually. Why don't we look to a more, you know, technology-friendly system where, you know, when you are registered into the system in any way, you can actually be checked, you know, via your phone, whether you're complying with some of these things, because the task force will come and go. They may pretend when the task force is around, or, you know, they'll come and catch people, and when they leave, it's back to square zero. What do you think?
I mean, it's more complicated. And I think education, there should be more of education for the ordinary Ghanaian to understand that this is the new system and that there's been some development. And so the prices of goods and items should be reduced because the tax reform is such that you don't pay double taxes. As we explained some other time here, that if you're going to buy from a producer, the law says that if you are selling time you are selling, you have to add tax. So when you buy from a producer and you intend going to sell, you also add tax. So it becomes double tax. But this new tax regime is in a way that it has taken away those double taxing and all that. And so the amount you're supposed to pay is very small. And before now, because sellers and producers actually pay, you know, more tax, that's why they intend to put the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian who goes to buy. But right now, it is not like that. It has been taken away. So all that government is asking is that reduce the prices, and it is not going to affect you. Just ease the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian. And so sometimes I tend to agree with the people who says we are our own enemies. I mean, instead of doing things to ease the burden of each and I mean, so I don't like using this word like selfish. Like selfishness is too much. I mean, just reduce the price. I
think people also see it as an opportunity that if they were making maybe 100 cedis when the taxes were way higher, or even the foreign exchange, the stock exchange markets, all of those things, when it was at a higher amount, and now that it is basically even half of that amount, they see it as an opportunity to still make more profit. And, you know, because there have been conversations around the fact that we are not sure if this will remain if things will remain the same as these reductions are coming. Is it that we are heading towards a bigger disaster than what we saw in the last 8 years? So there is that aspect of fear, trying to get things, you know, like the way the ant would pack food, waiting for the rainy season. This is what people are doing. Do you think that is justification enough?
No, I don't think it is, because we are appreciating the current economy, that every sector is doing well. The exchange rate, it's now okay. Fuel prices have been reduced. But yet, Ghanaians are complaining. Most people are complaining that when you go to the market, we don't see that there. And so when government says, oh, we are easing the burden of the ordinary Ghanaian, these are some of the things that we are supposed to see. And now that government has done its part, we, the ordinary Ghanaians, are refusing to comply. I mean, so that is very bad. And I'm sure that with this compliance team, they will ensure, like you said, so when they come to you and they realize that you are not doing what you're supposed to do, if it is a fine or any form of amount that you are supposed to pay, or a penalty, or they should arrest you. And then there should be more of education. So if you are going to buy something, you know that previously you were paying so amount of tax, and with this new rollout, you are supposed to pay this. If you are aware of it, you question them. But if you are not aware, that's when they go away with those things. So I think...
You know, that leads me to a trend I was also going to talk about. This is something that happened to me, or I experienced yesterday. Based on, you mentioned the fuel prices, and I remembered yesterday, you know, using public transport, we are still dealing with the issue of drivers increasing the fares to over 100%, right?
Sure.
And I was in the car. You know, the demand increases on certain days and at certain times. Like, so many people at the bus stop. So I got the car and they said, so the amount was 5 cedis to my destination. And they said, wherever you're going, 10 cedis. Now, we were angry, but looking at the fact that you need to get home, you have certain things to do and all of that, you know, a few people would comply. Sure. So we were in the car. We got more than halfway to the place where it seemed there was an undercover policeman in the car. And I was so happy about that because he made the call because he was going to the Aimensa police. They're going to Aimensa and there's a police station there. So he made a call and told them that he has basically arrested the car. And can you believe that the mates did not return the amount that we were not supposed to pay to us, but we continued the journey, so they didn't get to pick up more people. And I'm hoping that, you know, they were brought to book there. Sure. And I wanted to just, you know, talk about the fact that this is a very good idea where undercover policemen would be part of, you know, some of the crowds and just join the cars, especially the ones who would, you know, say, because sometimes when they are loading, they say it's that, you know, they are taking the double. So you've heard it before you enter the car, so don't come and act like this is something new. Sure. When they enter the car and then they are getting to their destination and then they make the arrest, this will keep them on their toes because you cannot exactly identify a policeman. You know, I could be sitting here and maybe I'm working for the Ghana forces, you know. So I enter the car and I just make a call. I think the man took note of the car number, the face of the driver, the mate, and was in the car. So basically, he was going to the last stop with them. And as much as, yes, they didn't give me back my money, it was worth the joy I felt.
Exactly. I mean, the same thing happened to me yesterday. Right. So yesterday too, like you said, I was tired, so I needed to get home early. So usually I don't pick those cars. From my side to Kwashima, it's 5 cedi, 50 pesos. But they take 10 cedis. So when I got there, looking at what is happening, I said, no, let me just pick. And something also strange happened. So in the car, a man decided to pay, instead of 20, he paid for 2 people. Instead of 20 cedis, he paid 15 cedis. And it became, so the mate was insisting he pays. And the man said he's not going to pay. Actually, nothing happened. And so I am of the view that sometimes if you're a group and you bought the car and the mate wants to take that exorbitant price, all of you can decide to say you are going to pay the same amount. So if they are not going to take, then it means that the worst thing the driver and the mate can do is to just
drop you off. But you know that, you see, because we are all from different places, we're all different people. Sometimes you cannot exactly plan it. Because even in the car I was in, there was one man who was begging. The way we shut him down, we said, hey, no, because if you keep leaving them to do, you know, temper justice with mercy and whatnot, they keep getting away with it, and they are still doing it. And you see, with your situation, it was a man. If it is a woman, the mates can, especially if you don't look intimidating enough, even the market women, they still go toe to toe with them and, you know, argue and try to get a woman to get down and all of that. So it's a very beautiful thing. I really love the fact that some people are able to stand their ground, and I'm loving the fact that maybe undercover policemen are starting something like this. And please, we are encouraging it. We need more of this so that they will get these people in check, because it looks like that's the only way.
But so the issue is that we can't also entirely blame the drivers and the mates.
Why can't we blame them? Because I heard fuel prices went down even yesterday or the day before, one of these days.
So what they are also saying is that they have car owners, and their car owners have not reduced the amount of money they expect from there every week. And so if the car owner is expecting, let's say, 2,000 Ghana cedis every month, and then now fuel prices have been reduced, and we expect that they reduce the transport fares, the how do you call it? The car owner there is not thinking about that. He's still taking that amount. And so they have to also, in as much it is not right, but then that, according to them, they have to also do everything possible to be able to meet that demand from their car owners. And so if we are blaming the drivers and the mates, we should equally blame the car owners, because they are also making the work very tedious for the drivers. That is why they are doing that. But in all of this, it is not right, it is not legal. And so we are also pleading with the car owners to also bear with them. They should see that, you know, conditions have changed. Fuel prices have been reduced. And then transport fares to, actually, it has not been reduced, but it's supposed to be normal, and so they should, deal appropriately with their drivers.
Is it not possible that these car owners probably noticed something and then decided to behave that way? Because we are in a situation where, let me use what I'm familiar with. When you refer to Accra, direct is 10 cities, right? But these drivers will say they are going to Medina, which is 5 cities. And then from Medina to Accra is 8 cities. So 8 plus 5 now makes 12. Yes. So now they get
13.
12. I think it's 12. 12, yes. 12 or 13 cities. 13. So now they get extra points in addition. Sure. Now, is it not possible that the drivers or the car owners found out that these people are able to make more money than usual, and then now started requiring them to make more money? So are they not the architects of their own misfortune?
It's another reason as well. Right? This issue, we are hoping and we are praying that the transport ministry will be able to help ease this burden. And even on that, the transport ministry says they are expecting some number of buses in this country to help ease the congestion, because area it is now worse than before during the Christmas season that we reported, and even after it is now worse than before. Now the queues have become more. I mean, it's
the
serious.
queues are writing alphabets, and speaking about that, we have a video on the buses that are expected to be dispatched into the country or onto our roads by the end of this month. So let's take a look.
You're referring to the congestion, is that right? So we've done a lot. I just came from Dubai. We went and inspected some buses. Metro Miles, the MD is gone to Egypt to inspect some buses that we recently inspected. I think I had an interview about it. So they are going there for the final inspection to make sure that everything is intact. So we should be expecting by the end of this month to the first week of March, the first fleet of vehicles in the system. So a lot is going on behind scenes, because we know that what is happening is not something that His Excellency the President is proud of. So we want to make sure that all these things will be taken care of. So we are working very hard to make sure that a lot of buses will be procured so that the congestion will be taken care of.
Right. So that was Honorable Dorcas Afotofi, the Deputy Transport Minister. So there are also complaints or, worries that these extra buses, in addition to what we already have in our traffic situation, would that not cause more traffic, road traffic?
Yeah, I think we discussed this some time ago. It is, but so right now it is going to cause traffic. But looking at the situation currently, I think it will be better that's from my experience. It will be better to be in a car comfortably, and stuck in traffic
after 4 hours. Than to stand at one place.
At one place. True. Those who have medical conditions would attest to that. Sometimes some people cannot even stand for like 5 minutes or 20 minutes. But due to what is happening currently, they are supposed to stand at one place close to 2-3 hours, which is very bad. And so I think, getting more cars is a good point. But after procuring those cars, what next? Accountability, maintenance, and everything. Because we are in this country when a lot of buses were procured, and currently we are being told that most of the buses are not functioning, and they are
unserviceable.
You understand?
And were sold for
so they buy them with taxpayers' money. So after procuring them to solve the congestion issue, maintenance culture should be something they should take note of, and accountability. They should let us know how much it costs, and the serviceable period and all of that, so that it wouldn't be as though every day there are problems. We use taxpayers' money to procure them, and we are not accountable. Another government comes and then they tell us different stories.
Right. So do you think that maybe one of the ways they can ensure accountability and the maintenance culture would be that if Peter is driving bus A, Peter and his conductor, James, are solely responsible for the bus in the sense that when Metro Mass, management comes up to ask, or to do some maintenance checks, it's Peter and James, bus driver and conductor, who are liable to any issues related. That way, when you are driving the bus and somebody does something, you can, or even before the bus moves, like that, there was a video that was trending where the bus driver gave his rules and regulations in the car before he moves. Do you think that is something that would work?
I mean, it will work, but it will not work in isolation because most of these drivers, their complaint is that getting access to money, that bureaucratic process. Yeah. Maybe because it's for government, you need money to service it, you need money to, repair some part of it. Getting the money is so tedious. You have to pass through, processes.
Approvals.
So if that issue is not solved, it wouldn't work because if I'm to maintain it or handle it as my own, that is fine. You determine who joins, all those things. But then when there's a problem, you don't expect me to use my own money. It should come from government because we are accountable to government. But now getting the money is also an issue. The process you go through. That is why most of them, they start and they see that the process is so tedious, they just stop it and then they leave the buses. And so to be able to, hold them, the bus conductors, accountable, government should also, it shouldn't be centralized, everything centralized. It should be decentralized. So the people involved should be given some amount, or if there's something, you should be able to go directly to a manager or somebody, not going through that whole process. So we should get heads to manage this, those who will be accountable to the central government, and then management that the drivers, the bus conductors would also report to directly, and if in case there is a problem, they can solve it before it is being taken to the central government. Other than that, bus conductors will do their parts, but if there is a problem to service the bus or something, it is going to take a very long time, and that's when they tend to leave things the way they are currently.
All right. So, cherished viewers, would like to hear from you. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the buses coming in? And also, what are your thoughts on the tax issues? Why are people still not reducing their prices? And if they are reducing their prices, maybe around you, you can call in and share, or you can send a message. Let us hear from you. Let's find out what you also think. So the next trend is, Kotoka International Airport is said to be, in the news about there's something going on where we heard that there's going to be a name change, and it has, sparked conversations from the fact that, the person it was named after was killed there. So there are different schools of thought, if I could put it that way. People are talking about the fact that, yes, General Kotoka was not, somebody who was inclined to democracy, and so his views don't align with our values as a nation now. And then there's also the school of thought that, yes, he was killed there. He was also a leader in this country at a point. Then there are some people who are also thinking that maybe this government is trying to push an Nkrumahist agenda. And the previous government was also, there are allegations, or we saw a few things where it seemed to be geared towards maybe the JB Dankwas and things. And we were hearing all kinds of theories about that. There's a video on that. Let us take a look.
We're changing the name of our airport from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. So we're changing the name of our airport from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. So a bill will be brought by the Minister for Transport for the name of the airport to be changed from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. So the Accra International Airport bill will also come. We are changing the name.
All right, so that was Honorable Mahama Ayariga giving us the overview of the change of the name of the Kotoka International Airport. So, Peter, what are your thoughts? What have you picked up from people on social media and around you?
I mean, this is a very interesting debate. And, before I even go to that, about changing of names, we were here when the Jubilee House was changed to Flagstaff. Or this is the Flagstaff House changed to Jubilee House. Now it has been changed back. You see, so this attitude of changing names, but what makes it so, difficult is when we try to politicize it. And then, this issue about changing care. I think in somewhere 93, 94, I wasn't born by then, so something happened. So we called something the 31st December case.
Yeah.
It was the New Patriotic Party versus the Attorney General on the issue of, before that time, it was a national holiday, 31st December, to celebrate the former president, Jerry John Rawlings. That is the Revolution Days. And so this issue was taken to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled that, we can't spend our taxpayers' money to celebrate coup because currently it is not part of our democracy currently. It's not part of our democracy. So we can't spend taxpayers' money to celebrate coup. And so it shouldn't be a national, day to be celebrated because of that coup aspect in this.
Yeah.
Before, Ghana has actually experienced 5 successful coups. That's from 66, 72, 78, I think 79, and then this 1981, which was the last one. And that was, the architect of that coup was the former president, Jerry John Rawlings.
Yeah.
And so due to that, pronouncement by the Supreme Court that in as much as the law pardons the architects of, coups, the law does not permit us to celebrate them. That is Article 3. So you know that the law does not permit any individual or court to, punish any architect of coup, like the Rawlings and all that. It means that the Constitution actually pardoned them, but then it doesn't give us the right to celebrate, these architects of coup. Now, why am I saying this? This actually translates into this current issue we are talking about, the changing of the name. So they are changing the name because the name is an architect or he's related to coup d'etat. Yes. So based on the pronouncement by the apex court, the Supreme Court, then it means that it is valid. If we are not to celebrate any, architect of coup, then we don't have to name our monument, a national monument after them. You understand? So when people come to the country, the first spot is Kotoka, and people would want to ask, who is Kotoka?
Yes.
And then for the explanation, he overthrew Nkrumah's government.
Yeah.
You understand? Which is not very good for
considering
democracy.
the way we still, call for Nkrumah.
You understand? But so on this basis, then I think that it is appropriate we change the name. But there's other aspects of it from our political, the majority leader and then the minority leader. The part they are taking it from, I see it to be tribalism, which is very serious. For the minority leader to say that the only national monument that is named after a Voltairean is the Kotoka International Airport, and that
is he a Voltairean? His name, well, okay.
If it is changed, it is going to be that. So it is going to be a problem. I disagree with the minority leader on that, and even the majority leader saying that. I mean, it is time we name it Accra because of the land, But even with that, it is Accra Kotoka. It is Kotoka International Airport, Accra. So with that, I agree with the minority leader. But they coming in with that aspect is what I don't like. The tribalism aspect of it is what I don't like. When the olden days, my grandfather told me that when the Queen of England was coming, when they went to meet him, they sang in Twi. Omanto Gan. So Akwaba. And that even talks about the issue of Akwaba and Obake. There are certain things we shouldn't politicize it. We shouldn't bring tribalism in this thing. We should leave it how it is. You understand? If you are traveling, the Ashantis are known for, fufu. If you are traveling outside, you can't pound fufu and take it along.
Yeah.
What you can take along is the inclined dokunu. So we have ways of, selling our culture out there.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that because it is situated here in Accra, so we should change it to Accra International Airport. Even with the Kotoka International Airport, we still have Accra in there. We are still selling it. So I agree on the basis that the name is attached to Ku, and currently we don't want to have anything to do with Ku. And so if it is going to be changed on that basis, I strongly agree. But I don't even agree with the Accra. So if we are to project or we are to sell our history, the Westerners say we don't have history. So if we are to sell, if we are to sell our history, we should look out for our past leaders, one who best represent the story of Ghana. Because when people come in, they would want to know who is behind the name. And likewise, when you travel to other countries as well, most of their national airports are named after their leaders who actually did something good for the country. And so I think this should be a national debate. They shouldn't just sit at the top there and say, we want to change it to Accra. It should be a national debate. If we want to promote our culture, it should be a national debate so that we will look at our past leaders, the one who best represents the history of the country. And then before I end my submission, there's this historian who says that Nkrumah wanted to name the airport after Ya Asantewaa.
Oh.
Yes, but because that time we had the UP party and then the Nkrumah's party. And so when he went to see the people of Ashanti region, they declined because of, the UP belonged to the Ashanti and then he was coming from different aspects of it. And so history, we have historians in this country that can help with a better name. And so on the basis of coup d'etat, I agree that it should be changed. But if it is going to be changed, there should be a broader consultation to engage the ordinary Ghanaian to get a better name for the airport.
All right. So thank you so much. We'll come back to this right after this quick break. When we come back also, the phone lines will be open so you can call and weigh in on the conversation. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for sports with Benedict and Kitia Kwating. And we'll continue the online and print review a little later in the show. So please don't go anywhere. We'll continue the conversation, and you can call and share your comments as well so we can discuss the issues. For now, it's time for sports. Benedict, good morning. I hope you're well.
I've been grateful. It's been a great week. How are you?
I'm good.
You're looking good this morning.
Thank you. You're looking sharp too.
Thank you.
So what's happening? EPL, Champions League,
yes. A lot is going on actually in the world of sports. But first of all, let me say a good morning to our cherished viewers out there. Thank you for being with us. And this is the best when it comes to the world of sports. We're bringing nothing but the best, both local and international. Before I go into my stories for today, let me just go through some of the domestic competition that's been going on throughout the week. So on Tuesday, in Spain, there was a game between Barcelona and Albacete. That was the Copa del Rey, where Barcelona emerged winners by winning 2-1. And then so they've qualified for the semi-finals. Today, Atletico is playing Real Betis. Hopefully, whoever emerges will see the way forward. And then, of course, let me go straight to England. I mean, that's where most of us, our interests are. So, yes, England over there. On Tuesday, there was a game between Arsenal and Chelsea. So, yes, they are competing in the EFL. They are playing in the EFL competition where, of course, it was a 2-leg competition where the first leg, Arsenal won by 3 goals to 2, yes. And then in the return leg, we're hoping that Chelsea was going to do something. But then, of course, as usual, they are always losing. So they lost against Arsenal again, 1-0. So on aggregate, the Arsenal won by 4 to 2. And yesterday, Manchester City also played Newcastle. So the first leg was played away in Newcastle, where Manchester City won by 2-0, and then they came back home against Newcastle, and then they won 3-1. So aggregate is 5-1 against Newcastle. So the EFL competition, the finals is between Manchester City and then Arsenal. And then Arsenal is doing something which needs to be studied. They're actually in 4 strong competitions this season, and then it's quite mind-boggling. We feel like it's too much. There's going to be too much pressure on the team, but then they're actually doing very well. So I actually commend Arteta and then his boys for what they are putting in, because to be in 4 major competitions and then to be leading most of it, I mean, he's done a good job. But let me dive straight to our stories for today. Yes, so our first story for today has to do with a local competition. That's the badminton executives boost team spirit ahead of Botswana All-African Championship. So yes, the badminton team, the Ghana Badminton Association members, they are practicing, or they are training for a competition that will be held in Botswana in this month of February, starting from the 9th to the 15th of February. So yes, the executives of the Ghana Badminton Association, led by the president, and then the president by name of Mr. Evans Yeboah, and the executive committee members, Mrs. Evelyn Nsia Asari, and then Ms. Sefako Sembia. They went to visit the team, of course, to interact with them, to give them a little bit of morale, and of course they donated some items to the team, and also to boost their confidence and encourage them in the upcoming competition that is going to be held in Botswana a few days time to come. So yes, the items, the delegation went ahead to speak to the team and of course encourage them, like I said before. So it was received by the captain of the team. So the captain, he made this comment. The team captain made this comment. First of all, I would like to thank the president, Mr. Evans Yeboah, Mrs. Evelyn Nsia Asari, and a hard-working treasurer for taking time out of their busy schedule to visit us. We are gradually making progress under the guidance of our coach, and the players are responding positively. We are confident that when we get to Botswana, we'll give off our best. So that was the president, the captain of the badminton team. And of course, let me just briefly list the members of the badminton team. We have Adogle Samokweku, Obeng Shag Francis, Kurampong Kwame, Ebenezer Ruben Tete, and of course the captain, he's by name Ahmad Samad Abdul. So the team is camping at Boteman, the Boteman Sports Complex, right here in Accra. Here, so wish them the best in the competition that is, forthcoming. Hopefully they raise the flag of Ghana high and they make us proud. Let me move on to our next story for the day. That is, it has to do with our president. So Koko defends Senegal despite backlash over AFCON final chaos. So yes, this has to do with the AFCON competition that just ended, where we saw Senegal emerging winners, lifting the trophy, the AFCON trophy once again against the host nation Morocco. So yes, during the competition, the final game, if we can remember, there was a bit of drama, backlash, there was a bit of confusion here and there during the game. Even before, during, and after the game, there was a lot of confusion and all that. But then, yes, so this comment, the Ghana Football Association, the president of Ghana Football Association, Koko, and of course, the vice president of the Football Association of Africa, of course, he made this comment that he doesn't really see any bad thing about what Senegal did. He added that whatever Senegal did showed that they actually meant it more. Like they really wanted to win. They showed they wanted the victory at all costs. So their actions, yes, it was a bit, out of order, but it still showed their enthusiasm, and then it showed what they really wanted in this competition, and they were here to win. So they had to put in everything they had to put in. And he added that if it's about showbiz, we show that part of showbiz in football. If it's about entertainment, it showed. And if it's about conventional football, we showed it. If it's about making money in terms of patronage and commercialization of the sport, we showed it in leaps and bounds. So he's of the notion that, amidst whatever that happened, amidst the confusion and then the disagreement and the drama where Senegal players were seen heading back to the dressing room because of a controversial penalty that was awarded to the host nation Morocco, them being called back and then all that. The drama at the stands, the keeper's side, where the ball boys were trying to take the keeper's towel, and a whole lot of drama. He added that it's all part of the game. When you are playing finals, sometimes you need to put up these kind of actions. It wasn't premeditated. It wasn't planned. It just happened. But then this is the world of sports. It creates that avenue for you to want to watch it again, want to learn what happened, want to enjoy the game once more. So I think I kind of agree with our president Koko with this comment. But then yes, he also admitted that Senegal went a little bit overboard with their protests, but then again, it still makes the game entertaining and all. Let me move on to our next story for the day. So it has to do with Accra Hearts of Oak appointing Julius Ben Emuna as, sorry if I got the name wrong, Emuna as a managing director. So yes, sports, when it comes to sports, it's not just about the field of play where we go and stand on the field to kick the ball and then all that. There's a lot that goes into, managing a team, the team coming off the dressing room to come and play. There's a lot that goes in. There is the administrative parts that also happens at the back door, where we have people taking care of the welfare, taking care of the finances, taking care of the social activities of the footballers, and of course the team as a whole. So yes, the Accra Hearts of Oak has appointed Julius Ben Muna as a new managing director. He's actually experienced when it comes to managing football clubs, being present in football clubs. So I think this is a step in the way. Hearts of Oak for some of the games now, some weeks now, they haven't really been up. When we are talking about competitive football, yes, they are winning, yes, they are playing, they are doing their best, but then, the administrative part, if our former vice president said, if the fundamentals are weak, definitely something will expose you. So yes, sometimes you may be playing very well, but then if mentally back at home in your comfort or back in your dressing room, the administration is not really going on well. People are not really understanding what is going on, and then there is a little bit of confusion with regards to whatever. It can distort your mentality when you are playing the game and all that. So this is actually good. It's going to help the team. Mr. Muna is actually replacing Dr. Delali Anku Adiama. He actually stepped down. He was actually the managing director for a while, but he had to step down due to some reasons and all that. So yes, the new managing director, Mr. Muna, will be working with Hearts of Oak, and hopefully he's going to put Hearts of Oak at the pedestal they used to be at. So Mr. Muna has served as the head of competitions at the GFA, that's the Ghana Football Association. He was directly involved in the organization and regulation of domestic football competitions. So he comes with a lot of experience, he comes with a lot of understanding in football, in sports, and of course in our local domestic league. Let me just talk about his career. So his career has also included stints as regional administrator of the Western Regional Football Association, national safety and security officer, and club licensing manager at the GFA. So he's actually experienced. When we are talking about the men, the people who can do the job, he's actually experienced. So we wish him the best. Hopefully, he comes out better than his predecessor. And of course, our last story for the day has to do with international news. That is the FIFA boss, Infantino, supports lifting ban on Russia. So yes, for some years now, I think since 2022, where Russia invaded Ukraine due to some reasons. This is not a political conversation, but then yes, for some reasons, political reasons, Russia was banned from the team. Russia, the national team, the clubs were all banned from engaging in world football and of course UEFA competitions. But FIFA president Gianni Infantino, he has made the comment that the 4-year ban on Russia from international tournaments should be lifted because it has actually achieved nothing. And he made this claim. He said this because he feels like people, that is boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, footballers should not be denied the chance or the experience or the exposure of doing what they love doing, that is sports, playing football, engaging in competitive games and all that, just because of tensions that erupted from political conversations. The political aspect of a country has directly nothing to do with the sports side of a country. And I think he is right, because how can the political decisions, the political leaders, their actions affect the game of play of the footballers? So Infantino said FIFA should actually never ban any country from playing football because of the acts of their political leaders. Somebody needs to keep the ties open. Ukraine sports minister said Infantino's comments were irresponsible and infantile. So yes, of course, he's getting a backlash from the Ukraine ministry, the Ukraine sports ministry, where they think the FIFA president actually made a very irresponsible comment by saying that the actions of Russia should be overlooked, whereby their football team can compete on the international level and all that. So yes, it's actually quite competitive. It's actually a story that is going on out there. Bringing Infantino is trying to make a point from the side that this, regardless of whatever that is going on, there are people out there who also want to do what they love doing, and that's to play football, that is to play sports. Now, what is happening is that even if you're a Russian, and you don't have to be in Russia, but so far as you're a Russian, you can't play football, you can't engage in sports anywhere in this world. And it's quite sad. Although yes, people are actually suffering in Ukraine. There's a lot going on in Ukraine too. People are also on the receiving end. But I think especially if you're out of the country, you should be, because this is what you've been doing all your life until this war or whatever it is came up. So I think it's actually a long punishment that's been meted out to the Russian Football Federation. But in all the same, this is sports. This is what happens sometimes when you take certain decisions without considering what is going to happen and all that. He made his comments towards the FIFA World Cup, that is 2026 World Cup this year, that's going to happen. So he says, so whatever we can do to help peace in the world, we should be doing it. And for this reason, and for some time, we were thinking about whether we should do something to reward people who do something. So he's actually making a comment about, people's actions towards, when there are these kind of issues about wars and all that. But then one thing I wanted to add is that football actually brings people together. You might be surprised that these two countries that are fighting, that they are each other's throats. When you bring them into the world of sports, when you put them in the sphere of a stadium, in stadia to play the game of football, you find them coming together. There are people from Russia supporting teams from England. There are people from Ukraine supporting the same teams from England, from Spain, from Germany, and same teams in Russia. So I think sports is actually the best way to bring them together, even though the tensions are quite high. But all the same, I know the administration, they know what they are doing. Hopefully, we can have a better resolution to what is happening between Russia and then Ukraine, because it's actually it's been long overdue. Hopefully, something good will come out from this comment the FIFA president is making, and of course, towards the FIFA World Cup that's going to be held very soon. So Yaira, thank you very much. This is it for the sports update segment. I hope I've done enough, to sports. Yes.
Details you gave us there. Thank you so much. Up next is the business segment with Peter Insia. Stay tuned.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome. This is the Business Update segment on Koko Digest. My name is Peter Nsia. Now let's get started with our stories. Ghana's inflation rate fell sharply to 3.8% in January 2026, marking the 13th straight decline and the lowest since prices were rebased in 2021, according to the latest CPI data. This is down from 5.4% in December 2025 and 23.5% in January 2025. Prices rose slightly on a month-on-month basis, with inflation at 0.2%, showing only a small increase in the cost of goods and services.
Both food and non-food inflation eased to 3.9%, whilst food inflation dropped to 3.6% and services inflation to 4.0%. Locally produced items recorded lower inflation at 2.0% compared to 4.3% for imported goods, highlighting ongoing import cost pressures. Regional differences remain, with the Northeast region recording the highest inflation at 11.2%, while the Savannah region posted the lowest at 2.6%. Analysts say the continued decline points to improving economic stability and could ease cost pressures for households and businesses in the months ahead.
The data tell a very clear story. Inflation has fallen sharply and consistently over the year. Price pressures are easing across most components of the CPI. While challenges remain, particularly in some regions and food categories, the overall trend is positive. This creates space for planning, confidence, and recovery. In summary, in terms of numbers, we are talking about January 2026 recording an inflation rate of 3.8%. Food inflation at 3.9%, non-food inflation at 3.9% as well. Goods inflation at 3.6%, services inflation at 4%. Inflation for locally produced items at 4.5%. And then we have regional differences, which shows that Northeast recorded the highest inflation at 11.2%, and Savannah recorded the lowest at -2%.
Away from that story, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has intensified efforts to enforce the reformed value-added tax VAT system that took effect on January 1, 2026, after revealing that about 60% of businesses are not complying with the new tax regime. The authority says the low compliance rate is causing significant revenue losses and undermining the expected price release for consumers.
To address the gap, the GRA has inaugurated a 26-member compliance and enforcement unit under its Domestic Tax Revenue Division to strengthen monitoring and ensure business remits VAT as required. The GRA believes strict enforcement and improvement voluntary compliance will help boost government revenue and support its annual revenue target. Officials has also urged taxpayers to engage the authority on any tax-related challenges to improve compliance nationwide. The new enforcement team form part of broader strategies to close the VAT collection gap before the end of the year.
And on to our last story, Ghana's total petroleum receipts fell sharply to about $769 million in 2025, down from around $1.35 billion in 2024, according to data from the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance. The figure includes revenue from crude oil liftings, royalties, carried and participating interest, corporate taxes, surface rentals, and other inflows.
The government has projected $1.1 billion in petroleum receipts for 2025, but the actual outturn was significantly lower. The decline has been linked to lower crude oil prices, reduced petroleum at mature oil fields, and fewer liftings alongside global market challenges. Now, despite the drop, petroleum revenue remains a key part of Ghana's fiscal framework. Funding the annual budget funding amount, the Ghana Stabilization Fund, and the Ghana Heritage Fund. Authorities say the downturn highlights the need for more investment in oil field developments, energy diversification, and stronger revenue management. In the year 2025, Corporate income tax contributed about $346 million, while crude oil exports brought in roughly $416 million. Investments under Ghana's Petroleum Fund stood at $1.5 billion by December 2025.
And let's now take our attention to the currency market to see what is happening at the currency market. And that wraps up the business segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Peter Nsia. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, it's time for the continuation of the online and print review. My co-host is here with me again, Peter Insia, and we're going to continue the conversation. The phone lines will be open shortly, so you can call and weigh in on the conversation. But for now, you can send your messages to the WhatsApp number displayed onto your screens or to the Facebook or YouTube live stream. So we were talking about the renaming of the Kotoka International Airport, and we had a comment here from Mr. Korte, and he says he's also called Mr. Nenyi from Spintex. So both names are here. He was agreeing with what you were saying about the fact that when we are leaving the country, you can take the document. So he says, good morning, I agree with the guy. And we can also travel out of the country with Fantedokno. I rest my keys. This is Nini from Spintex. So we were talking about the airport. And yes, I have a little background to the reason this airport was named after Kotoka, the Lieutenant General Kotoka back in the day. And so we know that he was also, he led the coup that caused the overthrow of our president, or the first president, that's Kwame Nkrumah. So he died. He was, on the 17th of April in 1967, junior officers, led by Lieutenant Samuel Arthur, attempted a counter coup against Kotoka's, regime. And Kotoka was shot and killed at the Accra International Airport at the time. That was what it was called during the fighting. And then the counter coup failed, and so Kotoka's death made him a central figure in Ghana's military history. So this was why, he was named. So shortly after his death, Ghana's main airport was renamed from Accra International Airport to Kotoka International Airport. And this was done by the ruling military government, a part of which Kotoka was. And so it was to honor a fallen hero of the 1966 coup, to cement his legacy with the armed forces. Now, there are conversations around that considering the way we sort of revere and even speak highly of Kwame Nkrumah's legacy, having this name for the airport, it kind of contradicts, because even till date, the life and works of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah are still very valid or very, very important to us. Then also, there is the aspect of the fact that there were people who believe that Nkrumah was not as amazing or as great as he's been cut out to be in history. Mm-hmm. The fact that he wanted, his rule at the time, he wanted a one-party system. Some people were also alleging that he wanted to be a life president, so he was going to be president until he died. And with that too, there are, back and forth, conversations about it, that because of his vision, there were not a lot of people who really saw what he was seeing. He was way ahead of his time. Even his colleagues, in recent times have said stuff like that. So some people were justifying the fact that he wanted that whole life president thing, to be able to just move Ghana to where he envisioned Ghana to go. Then there are people that were saying it was just greed, and history has the for and against, just like in a debate. There are people who were against, there are people who were for it, and it's all we have are the books, and some of these books are even banned. Some of them we don't even have that much access to them. Then we have a statement that was made by, let me get that bit of information quickly. Yes. So we have a statement from the voter, representative of the National Development Planning Commission. And the heading of the statement is saying that it is a misplaced priority and Ghana must firmly reject it. It's pretty lengthy. If I am permitted to read the whole document. Right. So I'm going to take just the last two paragraphs of this statement. Maybe we can access it online and read. So he gave a few reasons, and he's saying that for these reasons, I strongly and unequivocally call on the voter caucus in Parliament, the voter regional House of Chiefs, voter-based diaspora organizations, and all votarians at home and abroad to fiercely reject this needless proposal. I also urge the wider Ghanaian public to insist on policy discipline and economic seriousness. National development is driven by performance, competitiveness, and results, not by changes in designation. Ghana cannot afford distractions. This proposal must be firmly rejected so that national attention remains focused on economic recovery and sustainable growth. So this is just the last two paragraphs. He gave a few reasons. Let me see if I can fish out a few. He's saying that international airports are not mere symbols. They are strategic economic assets, and the value is determined by efficiency, safety, connectivity, cost competitiveness, cargo capacity, and the ability to attract airlines, trade, tourism, and investment. A change in name does not improve the operational performance or reduce costs, expand routes, increase passenger or cargo volumes. Neither does it also deliver any measurable economic benefit. So he's saying that basically it's not necessary, it's a bit needless to just change the name of the airport, especially if it's not going to have any profound impact on anything.
Yeah, so Yara, I totally agree with him on all the reasons given except one, where he's calling for other Votarians to, stand against this renaming. You see, I stated earlier that my fear, or what I don't like about this debate, is it turning into tribalism. That is the aspect of it that I don't like. But if we are to base on the fact that it was named after a coup leader, which of course our constitution is against, that's fine, fairly fine. That debate is valid. But we debating on this one on tribal basis is what I see to be something that is wrong. But apart from that, I mean, so like you rightly said that in Nkrumah, so it means that people have diverse views about our past leaders. So some believe that others did well, others did not do well. But what are the history books we are privy to saying? What are some of the developmental projects? What are some of the things that made Ghana what it is now? We know that some leaders laid some foundations. And that's why I said that it is time for government to engage all stakeholders, the ordinary Ghanaian, to find out who they think should be named after the the airport. And so since people have divergent views, like you're saying, there are some people who do not like the policies that Nkrumah came with. And there are other, warriors as well. And so when we engage the people, we will get to find out who could actually represent, Ghana well. I mean, like you said, when people come to Ghana, the first thing they ask about Kotoka, so they will definitely ask the history behind the naming. And so if you're able to identify who will better carry the history of Ghana very well, I think that would be the best name. But the two, party leaders carrying it or taking it from tribal aspect is what I don't think we should tolerate.
It shouldn't even be that, because like you said, the history books, we have a few history books that give us a basic overview of the life and works of a lot of people. And usually when you're naming something, monumental or something of value after somebody, it is to commemorate the person, it is to show some reverence to them, their legacy, honor them basically. And so if, we are going to be looking at it from that perspective, then, okay, what was the life and legacy of Kotoka? Now, is this something that reflects in the hearts of Ghanaians from days of old into now? What impact did he also make, So if that is the case, where he has made some impacts that today maybe we wouldn't be here if not for him, or there's something peculiar about him that, requires that we can name him that way, sure. Because from what we have here, he was named, or the airport, was named after him because he died there. He was a fallen hero in that regime. So he lost his life for that regime. And yes, nothing was done about that later on. But today, if we want to honor the likes of any of our former presidents, dead or alive, based on the fact that, okay, when we look at their life, their biography, their works, we know that this is somebody deserving of this. If not, then yes, But then again, it's been how many years? From 1966 till now. Like the commissioner for the planning committee plays, I've forgotten the name a little, but he's saying that it will not bring any new development, it will not expand anything, it will not change anything. So maybe we could leave it alone. You remember in the previous regime, there was also some conversation around some universities going to be named after, was it JB Dankwa or so? And yes, it also sparked controversy that it seems that government was trying to make the country for their family. You know, there were all kinds of comments like that, very funny. Some of them too were serious. And so if we are looking at it from the perspective that, okay, we want to, you know, honor people, then let's pick people who the honor is due.
Exactly. Exactly my point. But then you see, it's quite unfortunate that, like I stated earlier, if we are going to dwell on the basis of he being a cool leader, then it means that all other national properties or monuments that were named after other cool, you know, leaders too should be looked at. Because if that is the basis to change it.
Do we have any?
Yeah, we have other, you know.
Okay, I know there's a road that was called Sankara. Yeah, it's called Sankara, but that is, he's not a Ghanaian.
No, but when we talk about, we have Rollins Park and all that. He was once also. So if we are to go on that tangent, then it means that all other monuments that have been named after cool leaders should also be scrapped off. You understand? And so the reason why this has become very imperative is that, you know, when you compare the past to the present, currently we are a democratic, you know, country. And then looking at democracy and this one, it contradicts even with our constitution. We can't say we are Democrats, but then the history behind the name of our airport is something about coup d'etat. And so it has become very imperative that we do that. Now, let's also shift our focus to the amount involved. If they are to change the name, the amount that it will cost them. This will be done at the expense of the ordinary Ghanaian taxpayers' money. Because this one, it will cost them a whole lot. You have to change everything, rebranding.
Yeah, documents, even the
everything.
The aesthetics there.
It is going to, you know, cost us a lot. But then, I still think that it should be something that we should do if really we want to cement our place as a democratic countries. So people might see it to be something, you know, trivial, but it's very imperative.
But then I would ask you, is the name Kotoka International Airport really doing anything to our democracy?
It isn't. But then when you go
looking at it, I understand that. But when in our daily lives, the airport's name has no bearing on anything. We only hear most about the airport when maybe we want to travel, we have our relatives coming in, or Christmas, when people are coming in for Bolingo. Aside that, the airport is functioning in its own capacity, all of that. It's a whole thing.
The thing is that, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if most people do not even understand the reason why the airport was named after Kotoka and even the history. Some of these things, most of us down here do not care. But the visitors we have, you know, the outside world, they are so interested in history. You know, history defines the present. You know, based on history, we learn history to correct our part and all of that. And so, for me, in as much as it is not going to, you know, put money in the ordinary Ghanaian's pocket, it is very imperative we do it because of what other countries might think of us. Because when you go to some countries, their airports are named after, you know, their leaders that fought, did something very important for the country. And so once you get there, because when you get there, the first question you ask, what statue is this? Who is this person? What did he do for the country and all that? So imagine we having, like you said, it's been years, but it's high time we change it. And because so like I said, if we are changing it, then it means that we have to
look at every
other thing that has been named after.
You know when you mentioned the monument thing, it drew my mind to the statue of Nana Akufo-Addo. You know, in in that community somewhere. Was it in the Western or Central region?
I think somewhere in the. I can't really recall.
Yes, but basically it was put on a roundabout. The roundabout was incomplete, and then the people themselves even destroyed it.
True.
And this is to tell you something. It's communicating something to us, and I'm hoping not to be the one to say it, but it sends a message that they don't want it there for a number of reasons we are all aware of. That, okay, let me just leave it at displeasure. Whether it's displeasure with the fact that the statue was erected there, whether it's displeasure with the statue of the person of whom the statue is, and even the fact that the roundabout was not complete, but the whole statue was, complete enough to be unveiled and all of that. So, like you're saying, we need to probably decide that, okay, the people we are going to be naming a lot of our monuments after should be people that, yes, human beings are flawed in every way, but their good far outweighs the bad. Now, if Kotoka was the one that built the airport and it is, it's been named after him, that makes sense. And even now that he's no longer here, I mean, we may be at liberty to try to modify the name so that not too much attention will be given to the fact that, yes, this was somebody who was in a military regime and, causing the political instability at a point. But then maybe the looking at it will not really go too far because it's sparking conversation. And even with the naming of the universities at a point, it did not really go well. So maybe, but we hope to see what will happen.
It's high time we stand on our toes because naming is very important. Even with names, you don't just give a name to your daughter or your son.
Yeah.
You try to look at the past, those who bear the name. You even tend to look at those who bear the name in the society, the community. What are some of their behaviors and all of that? So naming is very important. But I'm pleading that we shouldn't take it from that tribal aspect and politics. It should be a national concern. This is it. Like you said, we don't just name somebody after something. Look, when the person has not done anything, significant to help. So, I mean, it's very good, but we shouldn't look at it from the political side or then the tribal side. We should just focus on it as a national issue, engage everybody. Even like stakeholders, you engage them to find out what they also think. Because I've seen videos, trending where people are saying, okay, some agree with the fact that they should maintain Kotoka. Some says it should be Accra International Airport. Others are also saying Kwame Nkrumah. So we have diverse views and all of that. And I know that the engagement will go on. They shouldn't sit there and be like, we want to change it to the original name. The original name was Accra International Airport. You understand? And so, I mean, it shouldn't be named based on something. So that name could have been right, but because he said to honor the land, I mean, the people who gave out the land and all that also creates some impression. And so we shouldn't, based on certain things. If it is the law, fine. But if it is the law, that's fine.
When we talk about the land and the honoring the people, obviously you will not go to a town in let me use the Volta region. You won't go to the Volta region and have a place or something there and it will be named or it will be using a different language because it is not indigenous to the people. It is not this is their land you're on. Yes, we understand that Accra has been urbanized, has become a cosmopolitan, setting. But what we would term as the original people, because I mean, Ghana Ghana at a point was no man's land. In that a lot of tribes migrated in here, all of that, we understand that. But let's say that this set of people came here. They were, let's say now they are the owners of this land. We need to make sure that as much as, yes, we've made their land the capital and so many people give them the feeling of, okay, regardless of all of that noise, there is still the upholding of your culture, your people, your values, so that they know that they are not going to be erased. You see?
That is why I cited an earlier example about the Kinky Fantidokun, and even when the Queen of England was coming to Ghana, she landed at the Kotoka International Airport. those who went to meet her did not. The songs they sang, it wasn't in Ga. It was Twi Akwaba, and that also brings the conversation about what transpired some time ago, the Obake and then the Akwaba. You know, the Accra Sports Stadium was supposed to be named after Ohene-Jan. It was Ohene-Jan Sports Stadium. Something also came up. So I think it is high time we sit down to look at these things. It shouldn't be that because it is on my land, and so definitely it should be this. We are talking about the nation, and this person that the people we are even suggesting are national. Let's say they are national heroes. It is not on regional basis. It's for like the nation. So like we have President John Dramani Mahama right now is for the whole. It's not on regional basis that he's from here and he's from that and all that. And so if we name it, let's say we name it after Kwame Nkrumah, we are not saying because Kwame Nkrumah is not. It's not a gun, so we can't name, and it is on the land of the no. It shouldn't be that. You know, certain things are national, and then we should accept how things are currently. We should look at that holistically, not from tribal grounds, not from political grounds, but from the Constitution. And if you are going to depend on the Constitution as it says, then it means that other monuments or other properties that are named after these cool architects should also be looked at. Other than that, we are not being fair. We are looking at one side.
Right. So it's getting quite interesting here. We'd like to hear from you. So the phone lines are open. Please do well to call and weigh in on the conversation here. Let's hear your thoughts about the renaming of the Kotoka International Airport. Let's hear your thoughts on the buses being brought into the country to help ease the issue of transportation. And also let's hear your thoughts on the other issues we'll be discussing as we continue. But another argument we would make, my last argument before we go to the next issue, would be that regardless, you know, in our lives, we don't just look at all the good things that happen and say, all these good things made me who I am today. There are definitely setbacks. We had adverse situations at some point. So all of these people, regardless of whatever role they played, contributed to the rich history we have as the nation Ghana. Whether in the political sense, in the economic sense, in the social sense, religious. In every aspect, these people contributed something. Exactly. So yes, Efifa or Kotoka or Hila Liman, whatnot, a Champon, yes, all of them may not have, maybe some of them, some of the names I mentioned, may not have had as great a reputation as Nkrumah, because even, yes, Nkrumah's works, we know, even till today, we still talk about them. We don't talk about a lot of the others as much, but they still played significant roles. It couldn't have just been that from Nkrumah, then we are here. No. These people all came in at some point. And yes, light would be shed on some people more than others, but in the end, they form the whole history of Ghana. Because when we look at, when we're learning history in school, after coming in from, you know, the first president, or even before that, the nationalist movement, all of that, independence, all of that, we come to Kotoka, we come to this, we come to that, and we learn what they did. So somebody too can also say that these people also are part of who we are today. So giving them some recognition isn't a bad idea.
But, you know, we are being rude, or everything we do is based on the Constitution. Before we attained independence, before democracy, it wasn't a problem. Because at that time it was military regime. It was how should I even put it? The survival of the fittest. So if you can overpower somebody, you overpower somebody. But currently, when you look at democracy, what our fate is now and our constitution, it contradicts. And so the constitution actually, you know, pardon these architects of coup, that nobody can even take them to court and even punish them or prosecute them. The Constitution has pardoned them. But the Constitution does not allow us to celebrate them. Based on 31st December pronouncement by the Supreme Court. So basically, it pardons them, but it does not allow us to celebrate them. And so if we name a national monument after an architect of coup d'etat, then it means you are celebrating them, which contradicts what the Constitution is saying. You understand? So in as much as they contributed positively to the country, there's an aspect of it that it doesn't align with what we are currently.
And I mean, you can also say for 50 years now, it's been celebrated. Maybe it's enough. But you know, this name change thing seems to become a continuing thing because the Independence Square at some point was called the Black Star Square. At some point back to Independence Square. It seems all of this is going to cause us to lose the significance of these names because Ghana was named the Black Star of Africa at a point because we were the first to, receive independence. And it happened there in that field also. And so that place being named the Black Star Square still signifies independence. Being named the Independence Square, there shouldn't be any sort of, we are calling it this, these people are also coming to call it this. We are going to lose the value of what we are doing.
Exactly. And you see, when you read history, some of the things that we read in history, when you grow up, you want to see. Yeah. Because in history, if you schooled somewhere in the rural area or something, you'll be learned that, when you go to Accra, at this point, this is there, this is there. Then sometimes you come and the name has been changed.
You can't even identify.
You can't even identify it. And so it's high time we stick to that. And it shouldn't be political basis that government A will come and will decide to change it to this. Government B will come and say, no, I'm changing it to this. It should be a national consent, a dialogue that nobody, this is what we are agreed to based on history, based on our research, based on advice. This is what truly defines who we are as Ghanaians. And this is what we stand for. And so be it. It shouldn't be that a government will come and would want to change because, some political affiliations and all that. Right. And so this issue should be looked thoroughly.
Well, moving on, the Kolebu senior staff have begun an indefinite strike, and this is over the conditions of service. I think we have a video of that. So let's take a look quickly.
So, as I said earlier, we have already enumerated the reasons why we are taking this action this morning. So on this note, we say that it is not so pleasant and we do not take interest in just a backing of. Whatever decision that we take is to push the government to do the needful for our members. So it's close. And on the points raised earlier, and in my capacity as the chairman, University of Ghana Kolebu, authorized by my national chairman, Mr. George Anson, I hereby declare an indefinite strike action, and this action is without any exemption. All senior staff in all categories are involved. Come on! Come on! Come on! So from here, I am directing all of you to leave your respective offices. Strike action is with immediate effect. So, or if you are even going back to your office, you are only going to take your and put your machine off. Please remember to put off all the air conditions and the lights. Let's say some fun from our university because we will come back here and work. Until then, we are expecting the government and all other bodies that matter to attend to this.
Right, so that was the excerpt. And this issue, people are talking about the fact that people are starting to strike more, especially as this government has come. Some are saying it's because they have the freedom to speak. Others are also saying that the government is too young to start fixing issues. But this issue was mainly about the move to the single spine salary structure, where some people were not, regraded properly. So there are some arrears in their allowances and payments. And then also there are tier 2 contributions are apparently not being paid on time, and so they are afraid for retirement. What are your thoughts?
I mean, with what you were saying, I also saw a comment like that. I mean, but before that, it is too early for strikes and all that. And so, to add up to what you said, I also saw a comment that, I mean, these people, they have like so much freedom that they do things. Most people at home that are not employed, if it was to be some regime that they know, they would have issued a straight warning to them. If you go home, you are not coming back. But you know, putting that one aside, sometimes, I mean, why do they wait for it to get to an extent like this? You know, they are talking about conditions of service. And what they are saying is that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has unilaterally varied their, you know, conditions of service in terms of overtime and all of that. So it means that if somebody was taking, let's say, 200 as an overtime, right now, what the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission had done, you know, they representing government, what they've done is that amount has been reduced to, let's say, 10 cedis or 5 cedis. And so they are suffering. It is not adding up to any aspect of their lives. And this, you know, this one also disrupts the academic calendar.
And even the health sector too.
Exactly. We hate to see things like this. I mean, they are essential workers, and in as much as, you know, we've been saying this every day, and I also agree with them that it shouldn't be that every day we say because they are essential services and we need them, if they are going through something, they shouldn't voice out. We understand, but their strike actions sometimes, you know, causes a whole lot of problems. So in as much as they strike, we are pleading with them that they should also tend to look at the mess it will cause. And as we say that, we're also pleading on government. They shouldn't wait for things to get to this point. I know before you go on a strike, you have to draw the attention of your employer for some time before you can declare strike. So for all this while, what was the government agencies and the people responsible doing that they didn't attend to them, and we are where we are right now. Right now, the ordinary Ghanaian is suffering right now. That's now when you go to the school, they say most of their libraries are locked. They are, you know, dispensed. It's not fine. And I've heard that other institutions too. I think here in UST, the nurses, the doctors, they too have also joined this. It's not fair, and I think that government should step in ASAP too.
Right. And you know, these are senior staff. They are not necessarily doctors and nurses. And from what I also read, the conditions of service have been, you know, negotiated for the doctors and nurses. But these are the people who do the administrative running of the healthcare facilities, and their conditions of service have not been properly negotiated for them to, you know, have a fair idea of what exactly is going to be happening. Like I said, some people have not even been regraded properly, so they may be receiving salaries less than they are supposed to. And they are also, you know, we would say they are also human beings. They also need their monies. Some people have not been paid for certain months, and all of these things would also impede on their conditions of life in general. And they're expected to come to work. They're expected to make sure that the place is running smoothly. So it is like left hand washing, right hand wash. Let us help one another, and then we move forward. Like you're saying, what were these stakeholders also doing that all of this hadn't been solved, and now it has gotten to the point where they are declaring a strike action?
So, I mean, the right thing should be done. It shouldn't be that always the ordinary Ghanaian suffers. I mean, whatever thing we are doing at the central level, it's for the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian. And so if you're putting measures in place and the ordinary Ghanaian is not benefiting, then there's no need or there's no point doing it. And so some of these things, government should pay critical attention to them. So even if you don't have the money to pay, they said those conditions of service were varied unilaterally. Involve them. It is about them. This is what we want to do. I mean, negotiations, they will understand. Right now, what they are seeking right now is to meet Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and other government stakeholders who are responsible for whatever thing they are going through. And so they should make themselves available. It's about, if there is no money, I don't know, just talk to them. They will understand. Rather than allowing them to go on strike, you will see that it will follow a trend. After this one, other people will also, our conditions of service, we want to do this. So, just whatever the problem is, meet them, talk to them, and they will understand, rather than, taking decisions on your own and expect that those decisions that you've taken, they should agree to them. They wouldn't do that.
Could it also be that there are the processes, through which these approvals and disbursements of funds would take or go through are too long, and that's what's causing this? Because this seems to be a recurring issue, especially in the health and then the education sectors, where it will take very long for these personnel to get their remunerations, and they even get to the point of striking at a point, and then we, the ordinary Ghanaians, are suffering. So could it be that the bureaucracy is too much, and then maybe there needs to be some more decentralization?
Yeah, absolutely. It's too much, and it affects all sectors. When it comes to recruitment and posting, it affects all sectors. It definitely affects all sectors.
Right.
But you see, the one thing that agitates or make people angry is what we call that overtime something. The person knows that, I'm supposed to work from this period to this time, and this is the salary I take at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So if I exceed my working hours, you're supposed to pay me something.
Please hit on that again.
And if you don't pay me, that's when I'll become angry, because I know I'm supposed to work from, let's say, 8 to 5. After that, I'm done. So if you expect me to do something, you have to pay me for that overtime.
Because that is your personal time at this point.
And they're saying that calculation has been tampered with. And so they are not receiving what they are supposed to receive and all that. And this applies to all other institutions. As the Labour Commission, the Labour laws will say, like, we are being guided by law. If you employ somebody, the person is supposed to work through to this time. And if the person agrees to do overtime, there are certain things you have to give to the person. And so you don't come back and say, oh, because there's you there, I can just... No, it doesn't work that way. So let's sit up as a country and, do the right thing. I think they should just meet them to avoid this strike. Because if this issue is not resolved as early as possible, let's say another month, you see another group of people also complaining about conditions of service and all that. And I understand this government is young for this, and it's a listening government. So I know they will definitely, work out things for them.
Right. Thank you so much. It's been a very interesting conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you also for your comments. Thank you for the other comments that also came in. I couldn't read some of them. So up next is the lifestyle segment, and they're going to be learning about dental care or oral health care. This is something that we all should, because your teeth, definitely, they play a major role in your smile. And if you want to maintain a beautiful smile, then please stay tuned for the lifestyle segment.
My name is Bevlin Anobo. Growing up, many of us experienced different ways of taking care of our teeth. Some of us even had to use charcoal, salt, chewing sticks, and other home remedies. But today, we are seeing new trends all over social media where people now, use things like baking soda as teeth whiteness and other, DIY methods. So today, we are looking at traditional dental care practices versus modern dental care practices. And we want to find out what negative effects some of these practices can have on our oral health and what we should be doing instead to keep our smiles safe and healthy. So trust me, you don't want to miss this discussion on the lifestyle segment. You can also, send your messages through our WhatsApp numbers that will be displayed on your screen, and also connect with us on Facebook and YouTube to share your thoughts with us. And this morning, joining us is Dr. Felix, Governor from New Vision Dental Clinic, who will be helping us, through the discussion. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Bevlin. Happy to be here this morning.
Same here.
Let me say a very good morning to your listeners and viewers at this point before we proceed. Thank you very much.
All right. But before we go, we would like you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Good. As you said, my name is Dr. Felix, Governor. I'm the CEO of New Vision Dental Clinic. I can say I've been in this space for well over 25 years. So I practice as a dentist by profession, even though my background has something to do with the military, where I served the colors for 16 good years before going on retirement to open up my private practices.
Oh, interesting.
So basically, I'm a dentist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, Doc, we would like to start from the very basics. When we talk about dental care, what is dental care?
Good. Dental care basically has to do with dealing with diseases of the oral cavity. Don't forget, the oral cavity or your oral health is part of your general health. Whatever happens in your mouth can have direct or indirect effect on your general health. And there are certain disease conditions that are even linked to your systemic disease conditions. So basically, the oral health, when we talk about oral health, we are talking about taking care of your oral cavity. Most of the time, people, when they think of oral health, they just think about the teeth. That is wrong.
Yeah.
When you open your mouth, there are other organs or structures that we need to also look at and take care of. You see your teeth in the mouth. If you open, your tongue is there, your gums are there, your cheeks are there, and even other like salivary glands are also in the oral cavity. All these individual tissues or organs can have issues. So oral health is not only about the teeth, it's about the whole oral cavity, which is part of your body.
Right, Doc, we would like to know what is the importance of oral care in general? As you mentioned earlier, we have, different segments or parts in the mouth. Why is it important for us to take our oral care?
First of all, let's remember that your mouth is the gateway into your body. So if you don't take care of your gates, anything can enter your body through that and infiltrate into your system and cause disease. So as we may be talking along the line, we'll get to know the link between oral health and systemic health conditions as well, if we have the opportunity to get there.
Right, Doc. Are there, types of oral health that we need to know?
Yes. In the mouth, like I said earlier, we have many structures. Right. So we may have conditions like caca, like decay of your toothache. Yeah. That's one aspect of oral diseases or conditions that you can meet. you may have gum diseases, and gum diseases may lead to tooth loss.
Yeah.
You may also have cancers of the mouth, where your tongue can have can develop cancer, or the floor of your mouth can also develop what we call oral cancer. What we also go through daily, most of the time, one way or the other, we may even have ulcers of the lining of the oral cavity. It comes often, particularly if you're under stress. There are other causes, but those basically are most of the diseases that you will encounter in the mouth. And then the other one too is where you drink cold water or hot liquid, and then it's like you have that sensitivity. Those are conditions that prevails as oral diseases in the mouth.
Right, doctor. Now let's travel to the past, in the olden days, where we didn't even have this modern technologies to even check the teeth, what is going on. What were some of the ways that they took care of their teeth?
Sure. So, like you said earlier in your intro, back in the days, we used to chew stick as a way of cleaning our teeth. And then economically, it's found to be even cheaper than maybe spending money to buy your paste, a brush, and changing your brush regularly. So traditionally, over the years, cleaning of our teeth has been basically the use of these sticks, and then use of charcoal or burnt coconut shells and all that, and then baking soda, as you said, or people who put the baking soda on the lemon or whatever to clean the teeth. So those were some of the way we kind of try to maintain our good oral hygiene. But that is not treatment of oral disease. That is just one of the ways of trying to clean your teeth.
Have like any benefits? The use of charcoal, the use of ash and lime, the use of baking soda for the teeth? Is it healthy?
I would say most of the times, chewing of stick, let's limit ourselves to chewing of stick. It has been found that chewing stick is also beneficial. It has some advantage, but it depends on how you use it. Just imagine your child growing up, you give your child this hard stick to chew when the teeth are not even very strong and all that. You can imagine the neglect that will occur. Because when you are chewing, you must take your time to go around all your, if it's a child, the child doesn't have the adult teeth, the numbers are limited, but an adult has 32 teeth in the mouth. So you can imagine when you are using stick, how you go around all these 32 teeth in the mouth. But basically, chewing stick, it's not like it has a downside. Don't forget, most of the sticks you use have medicinal properties. They have bactericidal, or that can work on the germs in the mouth, because some of them, as I said, they have ingredients that we say they are antibacterial. And again, when you are chewing stick, it helps saliva flow. It massages the gum as well. Once your saliva flow is rampant, regular, and flowing, saliva also has a cleansing action. So it also tends to get your mouth refreshed. So basically, chewing stick is not a bad idea, but it depends on how effective you use it.
Right.
Yes.
So how does modern oral care protect our teeth better than the traditional way?
Yes.
Because when you spoke about the use of chewing stick. Sometimes it doesn't even, go around. It just stuck at a point.
So let's, just for the benefit of our viewers or our listeners, let's differentiate what we say traditional dental care and modern dentistry or dental care. When we talk of traditional dental care, it is not the idea of those days chewing stick. It is the idea of the old way of doing things as compared to the digital world of doing dentistry. Okay, so the old fashioned or the old times, when you go to the dentist, they have to, even, let's talk about cleaning, they have to do what we call manual scaling. They have hand instruments to go around your teeth to remove all those scales. When you compare to the modern dentistry, we have what we call ultrasonic scalers. They are more comfortable, they are more rapid, they can go to all corners better and can remove the buildup better. Again, when we talk of the traditional way of dentistry, if you talk about diagnosis, you have to use x-rays. Those days, you have to take the x-ray on x-ray film and then go and develop it in a chemical before you can view to diagnose your problem. But when we talk of modern dental care, everything is digital. You put your x-ray there, you take your x-ray shot, you can view it on your computer. And you can even manipulate that x-ray to even see how deep the cavity is. And these days, we also have an x-ray machine that we call OPG, or orthopantomogram machine, that can take your full jaw and see all corners of the jaw, the joints, everything, and can be modeled in 3D models that you can even calculate distance between maybe where you want to place an implant or a filling as in relative to where the nerve is. So that is the differentiation between traditional and modern dental care.
Right. So we would like to go back again. So how does modern oral care protect our teeth better than the traditional method?
To use the word protect better, it's a little dicey because traditionally, when you use the traditional method, you also get to, the standard of care we are expecting, you will meet it. The only advantage of the modern dentistry or dental care is it facilitates quick diagnosis, better results. The outcomes are predictable.
Right. Well, we hear about fluoride a lot, especially in toothpaste.
Yeah.
What exactly does it do?
Good. So every time they will say use the fluoride toothpaste, blah, 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 blah. The tooth is made up of ions. Ions. If you permit me, as we see on the screen here, this portion of the tooth we see is what we see in the mouth. It's called the enamel. In fact, enamel is the hardest tissue in the body.
Right.
Below the middle zone is what we call dentin. Dentin is what gives the shade or the color of your teeth in the mouth when you smile. The lighter it is, the brighter or the whiter your teeth looks like. When you go below the dentin, you have this zone we call the canal. The canal is the place where your nerves, the blood vessel that supply the tooth. The tooth is a living tissue also in the body. Yeah. So the moment your heart pumps, it comes to the tooth as well. So these blood vessels also, the red one is the artery that takes the blood to the tooth. The blue is the veins that drain any other whatever out of the tooth. And then the yellow is the nerve. The nerve is what gives pain to the tooth if you have a cavity. So these portions are made up of ions. And fluoride is one of the important ions that will make the tooth very strong. So in the right amount, it will make your enamel very strong. But in excess amount, it can also make your tooth bad. You will see your tooth chalky, softer, what we call mottling, or fluorosis of the tooth. So at the right level, it makes your enamel strong. Wow. And it's a process where as you live every day, you use your fluoridated toothpaste and brushing, it's keep mineralizing your teeth on and off, as and when you use a fluoride-containing toothpaste or drink.
But back then, the traditional way,
Yeah.
they didn't have Pepsodent. So
Yes.
what was causing their teeth to be strong?
Yes. So as I said, most often Ghanaians call paste Pepsodent because that was there, but we have other brands,
have
in, the
other brands,
in the market.
exactly.
Yes. So as I said, fluoride is the iron we are looking at. It is not only in toothpaste that you can get fluoride. The food you eat has those minerals.
Right.
Again, the water we drink has fluoride. That is why in certain regions or geographical regions, when the fluoride in the water is of excess amount, they get what we call mottling or fluorosis of their teeth. In Ghana, I think some portion of the north, I think Bongo or whatever region, they have excess fluoride in the water. So when you see their teeth, you see these white spots and they are not strong. It's flaked off easily and all that. So it's not only toothpaste that you can get the fluoride. You can get it in your food you eat, in your water you drink, in your fruits and all that they have. It's the right amount. It's what makes the correct determination of the strength of your teeth.
Right. Now let's talk about the color of the teeth.
Yes.
You know, I'll go back to the traditional way again.
Yeah.
People didn't get access to
Dentist, yeah.
toothpaste.
Yeah.
So what then, or how, maybe it could be genetics.
Yeah.
People naturally have white teeth and then the yellow teeth.
Yes.
I want you to, touch on
Good.
that as well.
So as I said earlier, what we see in the mouth is the enamel. This middle zone is the dentin. That is what gives the shade or the color of your tooth. Most often, it's racially based a little. So where you see somebody who has a dark skin having a
very
brighter
white
teeth.
yeah.
When you see the white or the Caucasians, you see their teeth not as white as, so geographically has that distribution. But basically, this zone has pigments, what we call chromogens in them. So the amount of that reflects through the enamel, and the more you have this, either dark or yellow, more of this, the more dark your tooth will be like. So basically, it is the reflection from the middle zone that gives you more of the color of your tooth.
Right. But an individual who doesn't really take care of their teeth,
Yeah.
does that affect that also affects the color or the outcome of the teeth?
Yes and no. No, because the color of your tooth is determined by how the tooth is formed.
Okay.
Now, let's not confuse that with poor oral hygiene, where you are not brushing well. You have stains on your tooth. So that will not change the original color of your enamel or your tooth.
Okay.
If you don't brush and you have this, what we call tartar, this plaque that hardens around the gingival, the gum margins, it brings all those yellow, black deposits around your teeth. So when you smile, people will see it. But that is not the color. Those things can be cleaned by visiting a dentist to be cleaned. Now, again, let's also not forget, as you are aging, your tooth color or your teeth color tends to change from more white to a darker shade or a darker color.
What causes that?
It is the aging process.
Okay.
It is the aging process. Don't forget, as you are chewing every day, there's wear of the white portion that we see. When it's worn off and you're getting closer to this zone, and I told you that this zone is what reflects through this portion of your tooth. So as you age and your teeth are grinding down, you are getting closer to this zone. So your what do you call it? Your tooth color will be changing from more white to a little darker white. That's basically what happens.
So now let's move to the tongue. We are coming to the tongue, which a very crucial one.
Yes.
So in modern days, we see people use the tongue scraper.
Yes.
As part of their routine.
Daily, yes.
How healthy or dangerous is it to oral health?
Yes. Tongue scrapers are part of if I say accoutrements, they are part of the basic things that you can use in taking care of your oral health. Yeah. It's part of the hygiene procedure. You brush, you can use your tongue scraper to brush your tongue, scrape. Don't forget, there are people who have very deep furrows on their tongue. If you look into the mirror, you see that your tongue is not smooth. There are small depressions. There are, bacteria try to settle on all those places. And because of those depressions and uneven nature of the tongue, when you eat, some settle over it. So if you brush and you don't brush the tongue, you are not practicing good oral hygiene. Right. And to the effect that some people may have it so significant, so they need to use tongue scraper too as part of their regime in daily routines of brushing.
But then I would like to know what actually causes the bad breath.
Okay, so bad breath is a very huge area which I wish that could be a topic for another day. But let me quickly touch to it. It has so many causes, but the number one cause is poor oral hygiene. Good. If you don't visit the dentist regularly for this regular hygiene routines like cleaning, scaling, and polishing, you neglect your mouth. This starter that we talk about, that build around the gum margin, they irritate the gum. Once they irritate the gum, there will be inflammation of the gum. And once there's inflammation, there's going to be bad fluid, what we call pus, coming out. All those things brings out odor because the bacteria in the mouth also produce byproducts. So it gives bad breath. If you have cavities in your mouth that are not filled, when you eat, imagine you leave your meat overnight on the shelf without putting it in the fridge. It gets bad and it brings bad smell. So if you have cavities in your mouth and you eat this little foodstuff, meat gets stuck into the cavities, bacteria in the mouth will digest on them and produce this ammonia, vasoactive compounds, and then you get bad breath. Again, we talk of the tongue where people have this uneven nature of the tongue where it's coated.
Yeah.
Bacterial in the mouth dwell on all those things and digest all these products that we take, and then they also will give you bad breath. If you have gum disease, where your gums are inflamed most of the time, you get bad breath. Basically, those are the major causes intraorally, inside the mouth. But those are not the only causes of bad breath. You could have bad breath from your sinuses. If you have cold frequently, there's this phlegms dripping back into these sinuses and they get bad. So when you breathe out, you bring bad breath. You could have lung infection, and then, which is not treated. When you belch, you bring those bad breath. It could also be even your gut, your intestines. So there are so many, but the major cause is poor oral hygiene.
Right. But though I'm worried for, our brothers and sisters who use the braces. How are they able to take care of their, with all this sneezy stuff? How are they able to take care of their
So when you wear braces, you also be put on hygiene regime, where you visit those who do the braces, we call them orthodontists. You visit regularly for cleaning. We also have special brushes for those people where they will use to clean around the braces, what we call the brackets. So when they are able to use it effectively, they will not have any issues.
Yeah. Yes. On the issue of visits, how often do people, visit the dentist for dental care?
Sure.
Because there are some people that, they only visit the dentist only when they feel pain or only when they see there's a hole in their tooth. That's when they only have to see a dentist.
Exactly. That's one of the areas that I want us to deal more so that we educate the public more. Now, there's this rule that we call 222, 222. Brush twice in a day, morning and evening. Brush at least a minimum of 2 minutes and visit your dentist twice in a year. So 222 rules, 222. So to answer your question, at least visit your dentist every 6 months.
Right. At least every 6 months. But then there are people who, after 6 years, they haven't seen.
There are people in their whole lifetime, they have not visited the dentist. So that is an area where we say is lack of awareness. They are not aware that they need to visit the dentist when they have issues. So they are there, they only visit the dentist when there is pain, like you said. They only remember the dentist. Even that, they walk to the pharmacy and
to get painkillers.
And there are even over-the-counter, it's contraindicated. But what happens is there's something they call touche. It's in the pharmacy shops. They go there and buy that to put in the cavity. What that does is it's an astringent agent. It kills the nerve. The moment the nerve is killed, the pain subsides. But the hole is there. Okay? Once you have an open cavity in the tooth, in the mouth, food will get in. You get bad breath. Bacteria will infiltrate through that hole in your tooth and enter your system and cause disease somewhere else or give you swelling of the jaw. So the best bet is see your dentist regularly. Yeah. If you permit me, I would even give you the cost-benefit analysis of seeing the dentist regularly as against waiting till you get to where the situation is out of hand.
Maybe we'll have to do some other time.
Yes.
Because, time wouldn't permit us. But then, Doc, we'd like to know what should a proper daily oral routine looks like?
Basically, when you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth. As I say, we have the 2-2 rules. Brush your teeth at least for 2 minutes. And in brushing your tooth or your teeth, you must do it the proper way. Yeah. Okay? So, as you can see, this is, let's say this is your jaw, okay? And then you are like this, okay? So when you take your brush, don't do what we call scrubbing. When you go horizontal, back and forth, you're scrubbing your teeth, okay? Yeah. And when you do that, you see that the contact between every teeth, you are jumping over it. And when any food is there, you are not actually sweeping it out. So we said, angle your brush 45 degrees to your gum and the tooth. So when you do this, you see, it's going like that in between. For the down jaw, you sweep up like that.
You don't sweep it in.
No, you sweep up like that. It needs some manual dexterity. Yeah. But when you do it and you are used to it, you will see that you take your brush and always use soft brush.
But there's some people who really like the hard one. In fact, when they go to the shop, they tell you, I want the very hard one.
So sometimes what we call smoker's brush.
Yeah, smoker's.
It's bad. It's a bad practice. Yeah. Good. So when you come in, that way, you sweep up this way like that. Then when you go to your upper jaw like this, you're also angling like this. And then you are sweeping down like that. I always tell my wife, when I'm on the bed and she's brushing in the washroom, I don't want to hear that crack, use soft brush.
Some people don't feel they have brushed when they don't,
The tendency is the more harder you brush, the more you are removing the stains. Yeah. Once the stains are formed, the brush cannot remove it. You have to go to a dentist for scaling and polishing. Yes. Yeah.
So, Doc, we would like to know again, is brushing of teeth twice a day, is it a kind of health status, or we are supposed to actually brush our teeth morning and night?
We are supposed to brush our teeth morning and the last thing before you go to bed.
Because this argument has been going on and on and on. Why is there a need for us to brush our teeth twice in a day?
So, as I said, don't use hard brush, because when you use a hard brush, you're scraping off your outer portion, what we call the enamel. And that's how come you see people, when you look at the gum margin and the tooth, you see these depressions, cavities. They are not cavities caused by the normal, should I say, if I use a bit, pathogenesis of cavity development or pathology of cavity development. They are caused by wrong tooth brushing, using hard brush and using a wrong method of brushing. And when you use soft brush, you brush morning and evening, there's virtually nothing to even brush, but you do it, you freshens your breath, whilst you are doing this motion, you are also massaging your gums. So it is mandatory to brush morning and evening. It's not luxury. It is not, it's just that maybe economically your toothpaste may finish faster. So you have to buy toothpaste frequently, but it's the standard practice.
Right.
And you change your brush regularly. It's debatable where some people will say every 3 months, some will say every 6 months you change your brush. But this is the trick. The moment you are using your brush, whether it's 1 month, the moment the bristles are flaring out, you need to change it. You need to change it. So that is what I tell people. The issue of 3 months, 6 months, it's just make sure the moment the bristles are flaring out. Yes. Sometimes you see them, some of them falling off. Try and change to a new brush.
Right.
Yeah.
So the conversation is on, and it's a very interesting one. But then, Doc, we'd like to find out how can parents or mothers care for their babies?
Yes. Good. So we all grew as babies, and you remember when you are growing up and they ask you go and brush your teeth, it's like tug of war.
Yeah.
Yes. The moment teeth appeared in the mouth, there's a need to take care of them. The mother must ensure that she positions the baby in front, not facing the baby, but the baby is in front, and then you do, not the baby facing you like this, but like this way. And then beginning, because the baby may swallow the paste, you can avoid, and just taking gauze and cleaning those teeth, it's commendable.
No, I'm talking about the babies that don't even have teeth. Well, I let some mothers use tomato and then the gauze to wipe
the gums.
Is that hygienic or?
So most often what we say exclusive breastfeeding and all that, we don't want the baby's food or whatever till the 6 months to this and all that. So I'm assuming that those things are done after maybe the baby is about 6-8 months and all that, and maybe they started giving the baby some bottle, whatever, artificial food and all those baby food. So tomato has so many positive properties that can help the gum, but scientifically I've not really come across where we will say use of those tomato paste to kind of do that is recommended. Yeah. But tomato, is a good product. It may not harm the baby.
Right. Doc, I would like to also know what one habit can drastically improve oral health in Ghana. How can we drastically improve our oral health? Yeah.
First
Then give us your final words.
First of all, let's visit the dentist regularly. It costs us less money when you visit dentists regularly because the dentist is trained to take care of your teeth. The moment you go on time, any cavity that is at its initial stages, the dentist will plug them up for you. They will fill them, and those fillings can last longer than when you allow the cavity to grow bigger before a filling is done. And if you allow the cavity to go more deeper and deeper, it may end up getting close to your nerves, and then you may end up having to lose your tooth. So the golden standard rule is visit your dentist regularly.
Right. Doctor, we would like to have some birthday messages as we wrap up. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate it. And I hope by now people are going to, learn to visit the dentist. They're not going to stay till they have pains in their tooth before. All right, sure. So we've seen, like I said, we've seen a lot of, trends on social media. People use caffeines, people use lemon, people use soda to whiten their teeth up. Yeah. Is it a right practice? Is it healthy?
Now, this is an area that is becoming a worry to the dental fraternity in Ghana, for that matter. You go to social media, you see all kinds of things being thrown out there. It's a digital age. Whatever everybody is doing, you want to at least expose your practice. Now, what is happening is there are a lot of quacks in the system. They are not dentists. Most of the things, fashionable braces, the whitening you see being thrown out there on social media, a lot of them are being thrown out there by quacks. My advice to the public is go to the dental office, see your dentist, or go to the nearby dentist and seek professional treatment.
Right.
Social media, advertising in social media must be responsible and must be professional. A lot of the things we see are being done by quacks, people who are not dentists, and inflicting harm or injury to athletes. They pick over-the-counter gels or paste that have even no labels, and they apply those things to your teeth. They are gradually damaging your teeth. So the advice is seek professional dental care.
Thank you very much, Doc. We would like to have some birthday messages as we end the show.
I heard today was your birthday.
So we have a birthday message. We'd like to have it, then we wrap up. So this is from Clock TV to Matthew. He says, "Happy birthday, Matthew. Now we celebrate you for how wonderful and friendly you are. Happy birthday, Matthew. May God bless you and increase your days on the earth. Give you long life and prosperity. We love you." And so this is where we wrap up for Lifestyle. And to all our viewers, we say thank you for staying glued to your TV. And always remember, our culture is beautiful, but then our health is priceless, whether traditional or modern. The best smile is one that is safe, clean, and cared for. Shout out to Easy Collections for my lovely outfit. And this has been the Lifestyle segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Bevlin Annabelle. And as always, love and light all day, every day.